Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the Smart Start Recreational Therapy Insights YouTube series by Smart CU's Hub. I'm Nathan Lamaster, your host, and guys, we are on episode 39 out of 52. And this topic, guys, this week is really exciting because we're going to be talking about emerging trends and innovations in recreational therapy. Now, if you guys know this about me, this is a very close to me type subject because I love thinking about the future. I love thinking about how to improve things, how to problem solve, how to invent, whatever the thing might be. When we're talking about innovations, we talk about AI, we could talk about virtual reality, we could talk about a lot of different things. That all is really exciting. And folks, this is the episode for you if you are anything like me. Without further ado, let's dive on in. So why even stay ahead of the trends? Okay, recreational therapy is growing and an evolving field. Staying current helps you to remain relevant to clients and stakeholders, provide fresh, engaging ideas, demonstrate RT's adaptability and professional value, and also it will help you to be able to fill in the gaps where necessary in our field where you see them. Clients' needs are changing, and so are the tools that we use to meet them. All right, now we're going to talk about technology and recreational therapy. Some of the most exciting innovations come from the tech world. Okay, virtual reality. So if you guys have ever used a device like a virtual reality device, Meta Quest is one that I love to use because I can play a lot of games and do a lot of virtual activities using that device, but there are a lot of other ones out there. That can actually help with doing things like exposure therapy. That could be an idea that you do where you put yourself into a situation. I know for one that just comes off my head right off the bat, there's one where you are walking along a ledge, okay, and you're looking left and right, and you can see that maybe you're like above a city, and if you fall off one way or the other, you could fall and go become a pancake, right? Now, why would this be a cool thing? Let's say that you are dealing with someone who has a fear of heights, and the goal for them is to get over a fear of heights without putting them in an actual dangerous situation. Okay, so that game or putting themselves in that, and the more that they do it over and over again, are successful at it, get used to it in a safe environment, the better a chance that they will become desensitized to the idea of being high up in the air. And when they're actually doing that type of thing, will have less fear. Okay, could be talking to people. So let's say that you are afraid of social interaction, and in a virtual world, you can have an avatar where you're a different person, and you know you aren't going to get hurt because you're not a real person in that, but you can still communicate. You can still have facial expressions even sometimes, or hand movements, and you practice your communication skills with people that you probably will never come into contact with in real life. It's a almost like a stepping stone to being able to interact with other people. Really cool idea right there. There are games that allow you to do that in the virtual world. Whether it be, let's say that you're dealing with somebody who has PTSD and you're playing a military game, and the military game is very realistic in virtual reality. There's one called Population 1, I believe it's called, and you're actually having to even load a gun up, take your ammunition, put it in the hole, cock it back, do everything, aim, and it even has like a little kick and all of that to simulate that interaction. It could be just target practice if you don't like shooting people. I mean, that's something to consider. But in something like that, it can actually give someone an outlet into something similar, put them in a world where they feel like A lot of times what I hear from military veterans is they feel like they want to go back because that's kind of who they are. And so that's another idea. That's just 3 ideas for virtual reality. But you can go on trips. You can take people on outings in the game, virtual outings. They can have jobs where they're simulating how to do a certain job, count money, be able to navigate a bus system. I don't know. The world is your oyster when you're talking about virtual reality. The cool thing, though, the big thing that kind of sets it apart is that it's not real, okay? And so it's a stepping stone to being able to do that in real life. All right, augmented reality is the next level. So virtual reality is where you're put into this virtual world. Augmented reality is where the virtual world comes to your world. Okay, so you can still put on the VR goggles and look around, and you can see like this office that I'm in right now. And then something in my office appears that isn't there. Maybe it's a big computer screen like I have over here. And you can't see that, but I can see that, and I can actually type and put things places and, do all this stuff. It's virtual reality. I could be working on this, and I could watch a movie in the corner. Could be whatever part of your world. I mean, there's games that are doing that, and it kind of takes it even a step further than virtual reality. Okay, you could also use wearables. So fitness trackers is one idea where they put it over their wrist and you're keeping track of how many steps you took. Maybe it has GPS, maybe it has other cool things, heart rate monitor. And that can help you monitor progress. And then AI. So this topic is really exciting for me because, I should say it is very thought-provoking to me because I have been thinking about how we can use AI in recreational therapy. Now, there are different schools of thought. I've had different groups of people that I've been talking to as a focus group because we're actually in the process of creating an AI tool currently called the RT Sidekick. But whether or not I release that tool will be dependent on whether or not I feel it's actually going to be a net benefit or a net negative towards our field as recreational therapists. On one hand, AI is coming no matter what. You hear about it on the news. You hear about it in politics. You hear about how much money is being spent into AI. And it can do a lot of cool stuff. It can help you analyze something. It can help you organize something. It can help you do pretty much almost everything technological online. It could write code for you and create a program for you. Okay? However, the more we rely on technology, the less we use our brains. That's the other side of the coin, right? The less we are creative ourselves, are able to think through things, like problem solve. So there's that negative. Is it going to hurt our cognitive abilities? Can technology replace us? I hope not. I don't think so because people still need human interaction. They still need to feel like they are connected to other humans, right? And so if we are using AI for pretty much everything, which is what it's going to sound like we're going to be doing. I mean, there's already robots that are being programmed with it, and talk about Elon Musk's Neuralink, with something you can put into your brain and it's a chip, and then you got AI. Imagine how that could go wrong. Anyways, it's a crazy world we live in, is what I'm trying to say. But the cool thing is to think about how you can harness this technology if it is coming no matter what. How can you use it to help our field and help the clients? That is something to ponder. If you guys can think of anything, put it in the comments section below. All right, program innovations. Okay, beyond tech, programs are evolving too. Intergenerational programs is one area. Okay, youth and older adults coming together for mutual benefit. Inclusive community spaces. Adaptive sports leagues, sensory-friendly events, where they take, for instance, people with autism, and they are aware that certain things like strobing lights probably is not a good thing, or maybe it's a silent disco where everybody has their headphones on. That could be a way to do a dance. That's kind of cool. Trauma-informed recreation, integrating safety and empowerment into everyday activity. Okay, telehealth, which became really huge during COVID. It became a way that we were still able to see our clients when we weren't physically able to see our clients. These are just some of the ideas that programs have evolved and became different over time. All right, let's talk about new research and evidence. Emerging research areas include brain plasticity and recreation's role in recovery. This is not really emerging as much anymore. However, it is growing and growing each and every day. If you guys don't know what brain plasticity is, it is when the neurons in your brain are building new pathways. Okay, so the brain can actually heal from a stroke or from some sort of injury by repetitive tasks and things that are working on the area where there's a deficit. So, for instance, somebody who had a stroke, let's say their whole left side, is paralyzed, but they have some movement, and over time, you're working on getting those connections working again, and those neurons firing off, so that eventually they can do that on their own. They might start with just their fingers or something else, and turn it into a chess game eventually, where they're having to move past the center spot. Okay, and that could actually be going on visually. They could have some visual impairments that have happened because of a brain injury, or cognitive things where they're having aphasia, where they're saying certain words that aren't really the right word. So you're working on those things with them and building up that brain capacity. There's a lot of cool things that are going on with that. I mean, bring it back to the whole Elon Musk Neuralink thing. So if that was able to repair a neurological link and help somebody get better from a stroke, I mean, that's a cool benefit, right? But we're talking specifically about recreation's role in this. So doing games, leisure activities, things of that nature that actually improve those connections over time so that people heal. All right. The impact on green space on mental health. Okay. So how having trees, plants, things that are alive around you, and how it impacts your mental health, and how you're able to retain knowledge better, and how you're able to recover faster. Expanded roles in RT and preventative health. So are there things that could be prescribed and done by recreational therapists that can help you from having to go to the hospital later? That's a cool area of research, right? And there's a whole bunch of other things. You guys just kind of look into what we have currently if you guys want to. One cool thing that the RT Sidekick tool, that it's the AI tool that I've been talking about, it's being linked to all of the scientific journals. So like whether it's any of the RT specific journals or the journals that mention recreation and leisure that are outside of our field. And it's coming up with ideas of what evidence is currently out there to support various problems, and giving us treatment plans and goals based off of those evidence plans. So instead of having to go look through every single page to try to find something or search up something the old-fashioned way, you just type in what's going on and it gives you the evidence and links to that evidence. All right, now some wrap-ups and takeaways for today. RT is not standing still. No, it's adapting. It's evolving and innovating every day. Guys, if we don't innovate and grow every day as a field, we will die. right? That is sad, right? We don't want our field to go away because we see how valuable it is to the clients that we serve. As professionals, we need to stay curious, okay? We need to test new tools and approaches, whether they be good or they're not good. We need to test them out to see if they would be good, okay? Advocate for inclusion and innovation conversations. Always connect trends back to client-centered goals. And technology is opening new doors for RT practice. Its programs are expanding to be more inclusive and trauma focused. Research is building the evidence base for our work each and every day. And staying ahead of trends means staying relevant to our clients. Guys, next week we'll be going on to episode 40, guys. We'll be taking an in-depth look at case studies. What goes into actually creating a case study? Okay, and how can case studies turn into evidence-based research? Right? We need those case studies to back up the research. And we're going to talk about how that actually looks. Guys, we'll talk through real scenarios, hypothetical ones too. We'll make some up, and we'll talk about the outcomes and reflect on what we can learn from there. You don't want to miss it, guys. Have a happy Monday and a good rest of your week. And as always, recreational therapists, stay classy.